Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage, Connor McNamara, Managing Director ASEAN, AWS.
Good morning, Singapore. Good morning, ASEAN. Wow, amazing to be here. Looking out at all these faces. It's been a long time since we've had one of these in Singapore. This is our first ASEAN Summit since 2019, and I'm so privileged to be here on stage to represent AWS. First of all, I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedules to spend some time with us today. We really appreciate it. Now, before I go any further, let me talk a little bit about the event. As always, at AWS, these are not sales and marketing conferences. These are learning and community building conferences. And our agenda today is focused on those key themes. We have 55 breakout sessions and over 50 ASEAN customers represented. We also want to make it practical and give you opportunities to build hands-on experience through our skill demos and our training certification labs and so on. And so we're really excited to give you exposure to that as well. And of course, out the back here, we have our Partner Expo. And I encourage you all to take the time to wander around the Partner Expo and see some of the amazing solutions our partners are building on AWS. Let me dive a little bit deeper. As always, as well, our agenda is based on customer feedback, and our 6 breakout tracks have a lot of representation from ASEAN customers. Financial services, our fastest growing industry vertical in the region, representation from DBS, PayNet, Techcombank, Insights, StarHub, Singapore Airlines, Security, we have PayNet, we have Traveloka. So really excited to see the strong customer representation. And of course, we have lots of different hands-on experience opportunities across the various AWS demos, including generative AI. Now let me move on and talk a little bit about our sponsors. These events simply would not be possible without our sponsors. And first of all, I want to thank our global sponsors, Datadog, Palo Alto Networks, Dynatrace, MongoDB, and LaunchDarkly. Thank you so much. And beyond that, we have a number of specific sponsors for this particular summit. So thank you so much to our platinum sponsors, our gold sponsors, our silver sponsors, and of course, our AWS training partner sponsors. Really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Now let me move on. It has been quite a while, over 1,400 days since we last were here on stage. And things have changed quite a bit in the meantime. It's a different world. We've lived through a global pandemic. There's a little bit of financial headwinds right now. But at Amazon, we believe one of the things that differentiates us is our long-term orientation. We're all committed to building a business that outlasts all of us. And our North Star around customer obsession and inventing on behalf of customers and being patient is something that is the bedrock of our business and hasn't changed for the last 25 years. Now, I want to talk a little bit about a quote from Andy Jassy, our CEO, as part of his recent shareholder letter, which I think encapsulates how we think about the business, particularly in this economic climate. As I said, we want to build a business and relationships with all our customers and partners that outlast all of us. So right now, we're heavily focused on helping our customers manage their cost base in real time on the AWS cloud. We've reduced prices 129 times since we started this business in 2006. We're also aggressively looking at ways to reduce costs through our spot marketplace, through our investment in Graviton 2 microprocessors, and of course, by ingraining this sense of long-term orientation in our culture where our teams are focused. Now, another thing that underpins our long-term orientation is our commitment to this region. When we last spoke in 2019, we already had a very established footprint in ASEAN. We've had a business here since 2009, almost as long as AWS has been around. AWS was established in 2006, and we have 7 offices in 6 countries. But since we last spoke, we've seen a material acceleration in the pace of investment in this region, which underpins the strategic nature of this geography for AWS. We've invested in local infrastructure. We've invested in localizing services to local languages like Bahasa Indonesia, Vietnamese, Thai. We've localized our training and certification programs. We've also continued to invest in edge locations. It's a really exciting range of announcements. Now, I also want to give you a little bit of insight into some of the investments we've made that are forward-looking in nature about what's coming that will further underpin the growth that we see in this region. Now, starting in Singapore, we've already invested $6.5 billion in this country since 2016 in infrastructure and local jobs, and we will continue to invest going forward. When we pre-announced our region in Indonesia in 2019, we made a commitment to invest $5 billion in the country over the next 15 years. In September last year, we announced our commitment to build an AWS region in Thailand with a further $5 billion commitment. And most recently, in KL, at our Cloud Day recently, we made a commitment to invest 25.5 billion Malaysian ringgit in the country between now and 2037. So this is a really strong statement of intent on behalf of AWS of our commitment to this region and our commitment and belief in the economic tailwinds and the overall tailwinds that exist in this region. Now, things have changed for sure. And one of the things that I think has changed in the last number of years is the impatience and the appetite for the most senior executives in the region to move to cloud. Now, this is a quote from Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. But I think this encapsulates what I'm hearing from executives across the region in my travels over the last number of years. It's no longer a question of why cloud, it's a question of how, and how now, and how can we move faster. It's a view that cloud is going to be a central component of any operating model that you have in the future. And that's a big, big pivot from where we were 4 or 5 years ago. I always love this next slide because it encapsulates so well the diversity of all the customers we have in this region. And this is only a subset of all of our customers in the region. But it's really exciting. If you think about it, startups, the cornerstone of our business was built on startups. We have organizations like Altia.ai building the first multimodal generative AI platform on AWS here in Singapore. In enterprise, we have organizations like FE Credit in Vietnam moving core banking to the cloud. We have organizations like Techcombank and Globe using AWS to do a cultural transformation by investing in skills and AWS Skills Guild. In the area of SMB, such an important segment here in ASEAN, with 40% of the GDP of the region being driven by SMBs and 97% of all organizations being classifying as SMBs. We're working with organizations like Shakey's Pizza in the Philippines to help them grow quickly and to increase their fulfillment rate and increase customer satisfaction. Also working with ISVs, Embed, who are speaking here today, who are transforming the family entertainment sector with AWS. And of course, government, working very, very closely with governments, public sector institutions across the region, and in particular GovTech, as they look to embrace the Singapore Smart Nation agenda and accelerate their movement to the cloud. Now, none of this would be possible without our partners. At AWS, we see our partners as an extension of our own team, and we're very committed to building the most vibrant partner community in the region on AWS. I'm really excited at the growth of this partner community. We now have over 7,000 ASEAN partners, headquartered partners on our AWS partner network. We've also seen real growth in the diversity of those partners. So for example, today we have eCloud Valley, one of our premier tier partners, announcing a strategic collaboration agreement with AWS to grow their business globally. We've also seen real growth in our migration competency partners. TechX in Vietnam, first migration competency partner in the country. Metrodata in Indonesia, first migration competency partner in the country. Really important on a long-term trajectory for our business. Another thing I'm really passionate about, and if you think about unlocking the transformative power of the AWS cloud, one thing that's critical, particularly in emerging markets, is the investment in skills. And this is a charter we take very, very seriously at Amazon and AWS. And we're not just focused on upskilling the builders of today, those of you that work for our customers today, but also thinking about the pathways for the customers of tomorrow in second and third level institutions through our partnerships with universities across the region and programs like AWS Laptops for Builders in Indonesia to educate second level institutions across the country. I'm delighted to announce that today we've crossed the barrier of training 1 million people in ASEAN on the AWS cloud. So big, big milestone for us, and this is since 2017, hugely progressive in terms of our commitment to educating people across the region in what is the transformative power of the AWS cloud and really unlocking the potential of cloud for ASEAN as a whole from an economic and societal perspective. So really exciting from us. Now, I also feel really, really privileged to live and work in this region. Of course, I'm biased, but I believe it's the most exciting, fast-paced region you could live and work in the world today. 600 million people, fastest growing, one of the fastest growing GDPs in the world, a huge commitment to the digital economy. 6% GDP growth year on year in the digital economy, projected to be a $1 trillion contribution to the ASEAN economy in 2030. And just that overall vibrancy and sense of impatience that exists around ASEAN to leapfrog other economies around the world, it's really, really exciting. I thought I'd shine a light through a country lens on some of the amazing customer use cases that we're seeing across the region. First of all, here in Singapore, we're working with BCS to do a real-time settlement between PayNow and UPI in India. Really exciting and the first of its kind to be built on cloud infrastructure globally. Such an exciting partnership. We're also working with GCash, established partner of ours. So those of you who know, there's over 10 million Filipinos working overseas. The fourth largest remittance country in the world in terms of repatriation of funds is the Philippines. There's a big demand to leverage GCash through a GCash overseas offering that allows Filipinos everywhere repatriate money quickly and cost effectively. So really exciting project that we're doing with the GCash team in the Philippines right now. Malaysia, working with Bank Islam to launch the first Islamic bank on the cloud. So really, really exciting to have this customer go all in with our partner Mambu. So much happening from a digital banking landscape across the region. This is a really, really exciting space for us overall. Move on to Indonesia. So Maitra Keluarga, one of the largest private sector hospital chains in the country. They have over 20 hospitals across Indonesia. They service over 2.5 million patients every year. They were the first business globally to migrate SAP healthcare module onto AWS. So really, really exciting. And moving on to Thailand, really, really progressive country for us and of course underpinned by our recent region announcement. Working with ASEAN Money, a regional FSI who has over 30 million customers in their e-wallet. And they were the first customer in APJ to adopt our EKS Anywhere service and move their own managed Kubernetes cluster onto AWS. So really, really exciting, the momentum we're seeing them and how they're embracing cutting edge technology with AWS. And of course, in Vietnam, Techcombank, such an exciting customer for us overall, and they continue to break barriers and showcase their cutting edge innovation. This Condor treasury system, they were the first to not only migrate, but also modernize this application by integrating native AWS services on the cloud. And there's over 8,000 of these deployments globally. So really setting the tone and charting a new course for this industry overall and improving the treasury outcomes in terms of risk management, in terms of reporting and accuracy by moving this to the cloud. And of course, finally, our ASEAN emerging markets business, such an exciting business for us. This is a great example. DST, the largest telco in Brunei, and I know they're here today, so thank you so much for your support. We're the first telco globally to move an Ericsson's CIS application to the cloud. So really, really exciting to see the momentum that we have across the diversity of ASEAN. So overall, hopefully that gives you just a little snippet of the amazing work we're seeing from customers across the region. And again, I'm so privileged to represent AWS on stage today. So very, very exciting. Now, to close, before I hand over to Laura, I just want to encapsulate how we think about our roles at AWS in the context of this region. So a couple of years ago, as a leadership team, we wrote an AWS ASEAN vision to inspire and empower our diverse people and businesses so that we enhance lives, uplift communities, and build a truly inclusive digital ASEAN. So again, anchoring back to that concept of long-term orientation, this concept of legacy, this concept of building a business that outlasts all of us, this concept of giving back to the communities in which we live and work. And we're really, really excited at the momentum that we're seeing. And I encourage you all to embrace the opportunity that this event presents. It's the first time we've had one of this in 4 years. 50% of the people in the room today have either yet to start their AWS journey or in the experimentation or evaluation phase. So there's a huge opportunity to grow. It's very, very exciting. And I want to thank you all for your support, for being here today, and for your support over the last number of years. Thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Laura Gritt. So we're really excited to have Laura here. Laura is a tenured Amazonian. She's been at Amazon over 15 years. She's a distinguished engineer and a VP of AWS. And Laura has also been instrumental in the migration of Amazon.com to the cloud. So she's been really in the inner circle and working on some of the most cutting-edge technology that we've built. Laura is also passionate about building high-performing technology organizations. So it's a real privilege to have Laura in the region to keynote this event for us. Thank you very much, and over to you, Laura.
Welcome to the ASEAN Summit 2023. I want to thank the organizers for inviting me here today, and I am really looking forward to getting to know customers like you throughout the summit today. My name is Laura Gritt, and I am a distinguished engineer and vice president for Amazon Web Services. I've been at Amazon over 15 years, and I'm a technology leader that works across the AWS service teams. My role is really cool because I get to see how the breadth of our services comes together to meet our customers' needs. 12 years ago, I was in a similar position as many of you at the start of a digital transformation to AWS. I owned Amazon.com's digital transformation to AWS. A transformation that was very high scale. I was responsible for aligning multiple senior vice president organizations across over 1,000 microservices and applications owned around the world to a single goal of moving Amazon.com to AWS. As a result, whenever any customer uses any aspect of Amazon.com, from the website to last mile delivery, that is powered by AWS. As I look out into the audience today, I know that there are some of you with equally large and audacious goals. And I'm here to tell you that it is possible and it is transformative. Since that time, AWS has incorporated learnings from Amazon.com and many other customers to streamline digital transformations. For example, AWS has enabled enterprise customers to move from on-prem infrastructure to the cloud using services like AWS Migration Hub, streamlining processes, improving agility, and reducing costs. However audacious your goals, AWS is your ally to empower your ideas. We like to think of ideas as the genesis for every great idea, and it happens with a spark, a random thought, a light bulb moment. And as history would dictate, it always seems to happen suddenly, with a flash of realization. Ancient mathematician Archimedes discovered the physical law of buoyancy while sitting in his bathtub, his eureka moment. Bartender Tong Boon created the Singapore sling in 1915 when he spotted a niche in the market and decided to create a cocktail that looked like plain fruit juice. And Percy Spencer discovered the earliest microwave oven when a candy bar melted in his pocket while he stood next to a vacuum tube used for early radar systems. But is that really how light bulb moments happen? Are they really as instantaneous as we are led to believe? Let's revisit the microwave oven. It didn't get invented just because Percy Spencer noticed that the candy bar melted in his pocket. Instead, Spencer then used that as a spark of an idea to run experiments, work with colleagues to collect data on the impact of radio waves on food. They used insights from that data together with their expertise in radio technology to then develop the first microwave oven. Gathering data and determining insights from them was important then, but it is even more critical with business innovation today. To innovate, we must connect the dots. We have to connect and use our data. Data is the genesis for modern invention. To create new ideas with our data, we must build an end-to-end strategy with our data that leads to new customer experiences. Today, every modern business is a data business. And today's organizations must have the right structures and technology to allow new ideas to form and flourish. Building a data strategy can feel daunting, but you are not alone. We are here to help. Amazon has been in the data business before